So welcome everybody. My name is Matthew, as many of you know. It's Wednesday the 27th of May, and I'm just going to go ahead and go through a broad demonstration of the software, show you a bit of the training, because people have been asking me a couple of recent questions. How do we go through training, things like that. What makes up the training modules? Also, best days for trading, and I'm actually going to show you a couple of days of history. I've been running the program today. We've had I think one trade that I'll show that to you. And at the end, for the people who, I can see there's some people on board who are actually existing customers, and welcome, and people who are potential customers, welcome to you, of course, as well. And I'll be making an offer to you at that stage. People who are existing customers, don't get too grumpy. You've had the program and you're probably making money. So it's the thing with our program, and much like real estate, it's not necessarily timing when you buy, but it's time in. And using the program over a long period of time is certainly its own reward in regards to financially. So just quickly, if I could go ahead and get you to let me know, pull up the question box that you might have on your GoToWebinar software there. Just let me know you can see me, and you can see the testimonial there from Malcolm. Okay. That's great, Chris. If you can hear me, that's perfect. Thank you, Peter. Okay, great. Okay. Oh, good day, David. It's been a while. Excellent. So we've got a few familiar faces here tonight, or familiar names anyway. I won't be sharing the video. I won't do that to you. I will. I'm going to keep this presentation to around about an hour, because we have important. Oh, good day, Ian. We have important rugby league to watch. Those of you in New South Wales and Queensland, of course, Queensland is tipped to win. Well, that's my tip anyway. Let's get started. So what Malcolm here is talking about is he actually went ahead and, if you read this, bought Trilogics 3 years ago with a view to earning a supplementary income. Malcolm currently is owns a number of businesses. I think he's also a business consultant in New Zealand, in Hamilton. So he's over time, with the company restructure, solid training and learning. So with the company restructure, about 2.5 years ago, we changed our focus from being a sales-focused organisation to very much a service-based organisation, where we focused very strongly on providing the best training possible with the greatest amount of leverage. And what that means is we've put every single bit of our training online. We've systemized it. We've made it easier for people to make money. And what the reports we're getting back now is the people who are using the program, who have gone through the training and continually touch base with the training, are actually reaping the rewards of that training. So, we've really seen a great result there. Malcolm was a particularly tough customer when we did the restructure. And so one thing I found in business, especially in this business, is somebody who's offering a lot of advice, and good quality advice. I want to bring them closer, because they can help shape and mold the company. And I actually asked Malcolm to be a director of the service company. And also I've asked another chap named George Mandrina to be a director of the service company. So it's not just me, it's not just our internal team, but actually customers are represented by 2/3 of the directors in the business. So there's me and George and Malcolm. So, and this is, and if you want to speak to Malcolm, even if you are in Australia, you can speak to him. He's very happy if you ever chat to him. He won't pull any punches. He'll let you know that he's worked to actually develop his own ideas. But also, if you have a look here, is in the middle here, it says, I do percentage return / Exacta and Quinella. Now, the Exacta and Quinella training was delivered at the mid to late last year by an ex-trainer of ours, Paul Bowden. He actually retired from our company about when we did the restructure about 2.5 years ago, and he went ahead and has been earning money with the program and using the program to do Quinellas and Exactas. Now, we asked him back to do a specialised training for a select group of customers who were very happy and very excited to be part of that. And some of those people have continued to use his ideas and profit handsomely, as you can see. Because if you think about this, some people said, 2,500 is really not a lot for a month. You say, yeah, I understand that. But when you break that down to 7 hours a week, he's actually doing the work, really cherry picking the times, and that's in his spare time around his Very, very busy schedule. So the reason I've asked you to go ahead and find the question box today is you can ask me questions. This is not TV, and this is not scripted. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about this, and then if you ask me a question, I'll do my best to answer it. So you'll hear your own questions. There's lots of people in the room now. So, and for the people who have joined late, I am recording, so we will email that to you later on. So let's move on. So really what's going to happen today is we're going to do a quickly IQPro demonstration, show you what the program is, how it works. I'm going to keep this quite brief because sometimes my demonstrations have gone over a long time, and I can see a few people here like Robin and quite a few people, Chris and David. You've all had demonstrations of the program, and I'm very happy to do another one for you if you'd like me to, one-on-one. Today is a broad brushstrokes, just give you the general ideas about what we're talking about here. So let's get into that. So then the next step is going to be the membership, show you how we actually go ahead and train people, and then the last part is an offer that we're going to make until the end of the Australian financial year. So that's going to run up until the end of June, just to give you the opportunity to get your ducks in a row, so to speak, and so you can come on board with the program and start the new financial year in the best possible way. So let's get on to the demonstrations. Hopefully this, just go across to here, bring the program up to full screen. And just let me know in the question box, can everybody see my program screen? Great, thanks Jay. Okay, so this is the racing that we had today. Thank you, Ian and Drew. So that's it, these guys have figured out it's not TV, you can actually interact with us. So what we've got here is the day of racing that we're looking at. Not a lot of action today. I think we had I've placed one trade. There was some others later on in the day, but I didn't do those because I was actually out picking the kids up. And I guess that's one of the benefits of doing this business is its flexibility. You know, that's what Malcolm was saying earlier, is that he actually works it around his hours. Excuse me, just having a sip of water. So let me just go through very broadly what all of the columns do, just to bring you up to speed. Robin says she can't hear anything. Can everybody else hear me? Yep, everybody else can hear me. Well, obviously, if you can't hear me, Robin, there's me telling you everybody can hear me is fine. Let me just go ahead and type in here. 1 second, everybody. I'm just typing, letting her know that everybody else can hear. And I will be sending the recording. Right. Okay, so let's carry on. On the left-hand side are all the races that I've chosen to select to download data for today. Some of the existing customers in the room will notice that I've picked out Belmont, which is in Western Australia. We are happy to do Western Australian racing. We, of course, also happy to do some more country ones as well. But really, we like to stick with the major metropolitan tracks, being Adelaide. If you just go down the eastern seaboard, you go BR for Brisbane racing, SR for Sydney, MR for Melbourne, AR for Adelaide, and, of course, WR for Western Australia. It's not PR for Western Australia because, well, I guess they have to be different over in the West. So we've got, so the first race today was BR1 in Ipswich. Now, all this information over here is about the Ipswich racing. We order the horses from favourite to least favourite, and we go through and then identify the horses that are grouped together with a certain dollar value. So we've got these 3 horses covered for a first place, that's in blue, because we cover up to 50% of the prize pool for a first. Then we cover up to 80% for a second and 90% for a third. Let's go through these columns in order. Horse number. The next column over is win dividend, what each horse is paying for a win price. The next column over is each horse as a percentage of the prize pool, how much of that horse how much of the prize pool is that horse holding? Well, horse number 8 is holding 26% of the money. The next one over is C percentage, which is cumulative percentage. So horse 8 and horse 6, if we take $26% plus 23%, it's going to add up to 49%. So these two horses cumulatively hold almost 50% of the money in the race. Okay. The next one along is the place price. WDIF, UDIF, WUP, not going to talk about those today, not terribly important, simply because I can talk about those in an extended demonstration one-on-one. The next column over is MG, that's the money gap. That's how we identify the differences between one horse and another in relation to the price that it's paying. So if you have a look at horse number 8 versus horse number 6, one's paying $3.20, the other one's paying $3.60. The difference between those two is only a multiplier of 1.13, or to say that another way, it's 13%. Okay, so it's a 13% increase to the next horse. What we're looking for is horses that are grouped together with a similar price, and therefore, and how I say that, or how we identify ones with a similar price is we're actually going to go ahead and look at races that have, horses that are within 1.5 of each other. So if we say horse number 8 versus horse number 6, there's a 13 or 1.3% difference. But if we go down here, $5.90 versus $12.20, we can see there's more than double there, which is 2 times, and it's in red. So for those of you who have seen the program before, you'll obviously know that we're going to be going ahead and adding to this red marker here, add to that red marker there, and of course we would go ahead and add to the bottom, because we're going to group these horses together for a first place, because it's not reasonable to say that horse number 4 is worthy of our money for a first place and horse number 2 is not, because horse paying $5.20 versus $5.90, well, there's not much difference. And we go through and we add horses. We don't need to add any more there for a second place, but we do need to add more there. This is how it started off. It's not reasonable to say $15.20 is much better than $22. Well, it's only 1.47. It's not 1.5. We need to add that in. We need to add that in. I don't necessarily need to look at these numbers over here. All I'm looking at are these red markers. All right. Now, the most people who use the program are really only going to be, in the first instance, going to be looking at this area down here. What are the rules telling us? Now, if any of the rules are broken, they go red. If all the rules are okay, they'll stay green. So you can see the field being 8 over here. There's 8 horses in the field, and that's okay. That's in green. But of course, if it's less than 8 or greater than 14, that's a no bet. The next one is we want to make sure we're looking at horses with paying more than $1.80. $3.20 is more than $1.80, so that's green. The pool needs to be greater than $5,000, which it's not. That's why it's in red. The combos. Now, the program selects a certain number of horses for a first, second, and third automatically. And then, remember, I went ahead and added a couple of extra horses in here, which means that you'll find that we've got 72. 72 goes outside of the guidelines, therefore it's a breach, making this red. Low dollar multiples, dollars on top combo can't be less than $20 because we actually are going to be betting a different dollar amount on every combination. This is the really clever thing about our program. Every one of these combinations, so 8, 6, and 4, has a different probability of coming in than 8, 2, and 5. And so therefore we put a different dollar amount on each one of those, ensuring we get a profitable return regardless of which one comes in. So we're looking at there, so we, of course, at the top of the combinations, let me just slowly scroll up here, and you can see lots and lots of different bets in this race. At the top of the combinations, we've got horse number, this one here, 8, 6, and 4 being the top 3 horses, holding $16, and that's not enough. We need at least $20. Okay? And the low dollar multiples, we don't want to have more than 1/3 of our bets. Not more than 1/3 of our bets being $1, $2, or $3. So that's that. All right then, so let's move on. Really, what I'm looking at here is I'm looking for any horses or any races that show all green here. So if we just go ahead and click to the next race, field is 5 and pool is 1,500. That's not enough. And you can just go through really simply and identify races that don't qualify. And this is how you're able to manage your time during the day. You just go through and click forward. You go, no, this is not going to work. Yes, this is going to be fine. All of those sort of things. Now, rather than just go through a huge a list here, because you might sit there and go, well, after 4 or 5 races, I'm not happy with this. Not happy with this day. You just walk away because there's no boss. There's nobody here making you be here. Our program is simply designed to ensure you get the most profitable return for the time spent in front of it with the lowest risk. And that's the basis of our software. So you can just go to the next race, and this is really easy to identify. If I could unmute anybody here, and you'd immediately be able to see whether a race qualifies or not. Field in red. Let's say you even forgot the rule, but hey, 7 horses, we know that we need between 8 and 14. This is in red, no bet. And you just carry on. So I'm often asked, what are the best days for trading? Currently, we have just by a nose, we've got being one at Tuesday, and actually Fridays and Saturdays are very good days. And what I've done is how you can actually go ahead and review race data is you can click on history, and you can bring up every single day's trading going back, well, as much as you've actually collected. This is my copy of the program, and I reinstalled fresh in October. That's when we actually were early part of the release. We didn't officially release until January, February, but in November I started collecting live data, and this is the information that we have here. I've missed a few Sundays because, well, everybody's got to have a day off soon, every now and then. And so you can see here that we've got lots of data. Now the program does come shipped with January, February and March 2014 data. Now that's how you'll do your training, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. If I go ahead and just close that window. Now I brought up a Saturday from a couple of weeks ago, and I just wanted to show you through that. So you can see here Saturday 9th of May 2015. It's in history mode, and just want to make sure I'm seeing the whole screen. Let me just pull that down a bit. There we go. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is our data sheet. And I'll just bring that up. And here's our, I guess, report of selections for the day. And so the reason we had no bet on here was pool. The reason for no bet here was profits, wasn't enough money to earn. And we had a reasonably good day. It went up and down. We came up to around about $1,200 profit, and that was on the third race, the percentage return race, MR6. Then we had a loss, and it keeps going up. Now, I'll show you a day like this. Look, I could find plenty of days that's just win, 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 and we close the program off, and we've got $2,000 in the bank, and that's great. What I'd prefer to show you is that a day where it goes up and down. You have a whole bunch of races where you don't bet. You have some early success, and then a bit of a dry patch, and then a loss. Of course, still over $1,000 for the day is pretty good, but of course the idea here is to show you that the program is a trading platform, and if you've struck your target, and even if your target's here at $1,000, that's on the BR3, that's the third race in Brisbane for the day. If you've struck that, you've gone ahead and made your money for the day, and you can switch the program off. So that's what I would suggest that people do, and certainly we teach that in training. So let me just go ahead and show you that. So let me just go ahead and show you, first race we bet on that day was Brisbane race 2, being a trifecta. So we find Brisbane race 2. So actually what I'll do is I'll just fast forward this day. You'll see very simply that I'm not just making stuff up. Let me just have a look here. Drew's just got a question here. Yeah, Drew, the average bet amount is we do a $200 percent return bet, and I'll show you that in a moment, and a $400 trifecta. And that $400 trifecta might be up to 60 different combinations. So yes, we do actually place a substantial amount of money down. Yeah, my pleasure. So and by the way, everybody, if there are questions, hit me, and I'll answer them as soon as I see them on the screen here. I do get carried away, but I just wanted to show you this. Okay, so keep your eyes down in this section here, because we're looking for races that qualify. Remember, we need 8 to 14 horses. We need more than $1.80 on the favourite. We need the prize pool to be more than $5,000. We need the combos to be 60 or less. Dollars on top combo need to be greater than $20. Low dollar multiples, I want to have it less than 33% or 1/3. And maidens. Now, we've had customers in the past request that I want to identify maiden races, things like that. Maidens are a race full of horses that have never won a race before. So at the end of the race, somebody's not going to be a maiden anymore. And that's sort of give the horses practice, because these are athletes. They need to continue to I guess, build their skills. So I've got the program telling me when there's a maiden race, and I've actually said to the program, yes, I'm happy for that to go ahead and be okay. So keep your eyes down here. I'm just going to go to the next race. Straight away, pool, combos, all of this doesn't qualify. Next race, all of this doesn't qualify. Doesn't qualify. So very quickly, and when a person owns the program, you'll very quickly realize that you identify races that do and do not qualify. David's just asked about the ticking of boxes. Actually, David, when I find a race that with all the greens in there, I'll go through that again. So I'm more than happy to do that for you, because I probably did brush over that. Well, because I don't want to get bogged down in too much detail. So if there's any details that you guys want to see, you pop it in that question box, and I'll go ahead and make sure that I answer that, because that's the burning question. That's the question for you. Drew's just asked, can I scan for races that don't qualify? Absolutely. That's actually an important part of the training, is that you start the day early. You get when I say early, 11:30 in the morning, so it's not too early. And you just click through and you go, right, these races are going to qualify, these races aren't. For example, if you looked at this race, it might qualify because it has the right number of horses in the race, and it's at a metropolitan track. If you look at a race track that's out in the middle of nowhere and there's 5 horses in it, well, of course, that's never going to qualify. So yes, the idea, Drew, is to absolutely scan through the day to I guess, understand when you're next going to be in front of the computer. I even had one customer at one stage set himself a little egg timer. Says, okay, well, next time I need to be in front of the program is in 25 minutes. He'll walk away, make himself a cup of tea, things like that. And it'll ding when it's time to go. Now, the program, if it was running live, it's not now because racing is finished, but if the program's running live, and a lot of you will be familiar with that dinging sound, the program does sort of ding at you to give you that audio reminder that, hey, I'm here and there's some action going on. So the program certainly does that as well. So we go forward. Okay, this is 15 horses, not going to qualify, it's in red. Dollars on favourite, $1.30. Now, we do have a style of trading where you can actually bet with a race that's less than $1.80, but certainly not as low as $1.30. That's called a mega or banker trifecta. Everything's red here, so that's definitely not going to work for us. Field of 7, that's not going to work for us. So you can see really quickly, okay, this doesn't, okay, here we go. So David, what I'm talking about here, let me just take the program back to default selections. This is the program when it brings up the 50, 70, 90. So the program automatically selects horses for 50% of the cumulative prize pool for a first, 70% for a second, and 90% for a third. We're looking to group horses together with a similar price. So $3.20 and $3.50, that's pretty similar. $3.50 to $6.60, there's a reasonable gap between there. What's the difference between those two? Well, 1.89. So it's a 89% increase in price between $3.50 and $6.60. So that is it's reasonable to say, because I don't know the horse's name or jockey or things like that. If, of course, you do right-click and hit show or hide details, you can bring up the horse's name and the jockey. But for me, that's not an important thing to know. That's not going to help me make a better decision, knowing that The horse number one's called Jumbo Prince. That's not going to help me, and probably not going to help many customers knowing that, oh well, I've got to bet down to Get Up Strop. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide that because that's just it's a red herring as far as I'm concerned. Drew's asking. Drew's asked if there's a macro or a program that can sit on top of it. Some customers have developed their own, Drew. We have not, because not everybody knows how to actually use those pieces of software. But Drew, I'm happy to talk to you offline about those sort of things. Okay, so back to David's questions about the grouping of horses together and the adding of ticks. These two horses grouped together, yep, absolutely. Everybody can see that those two horses are very similar in price. The next group, 7, 6. The program has selected these two horses for a second place because we're looking at 70% return. But $8.50 versus $11.80, what's the difference? Well, there's only a 1.39, or to say that another way, a 39% increase between $8.50 and $11.80. Mathematically, look, horse number 6 might be a really nice horse with a great name and a good pedigree, and horse number 4 might be some, I don't know, dotty black and white thing with a Santa Claus riding it. I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is mathematically these two horses are very similar. So it's not reasonable to say that horse number 6 is worthy of our money for a second place and horse number 4 is not. If horse number 4 was paying $62, well, clearly it's not worthy of our time. But $8.50 versus $11.80 is similar. So I need to add that horse there. Same thing again. Horse number 5, $11.80 versus $12.80. Well, that's pretty similar. And $12.80 versus $15.60 is pretty similar. It's only 1.22 or 22%. So I've gone ahead and explained the maths behind all of this. But in reality, all you got to do, so let me just go back to this is the default selections. All you've got to do is look for the red marker. So where's the red marker here? The first one's there. Hey, I don't need to add any more there for a first place. Where's the next red marker for us? There it is. I need to add those horses in. So you don't have to get too involved with the maths or anything like that. All we're looking to do is add to the next red marker. So our training is designed to give you all of the whys, all of the, how does this interact with that and how does this work with this? All of those things sort of knit together. How does it all come together? And why do we select it like that? And that's why and I'll show you the training modules in a moment, and we actually go really deep. Not because we like the sound of our own voices or we like producing videos, it's simply because we would prefer you to have the resources to say at 10 o'clock at night, what was that thing about the money gap selection thing? Or what's an allowance? Or what's a money gap? You can go and find that video, watch that 10, 15 minutes and be completely up to speed straight away. So there's that's the selection. Now we don't need to add any more there for a third place. Thank you, John, for asking that. Do we need to add any more? No, we don't. If there's a red marker here at the bottom of this third group, we can stop there. Now, some people might say, hey, there's 4 horses there we're ignoring. Yes, but once again, I'm a maths guy. So what am I missing out on here? I'm missing out on essentially 8% of the race, 8.1% of the race. What that means is I'm covering 90% of the race, 90%, 92% of the money. Okay, so I need to add to this red marker here for a first, there for a second. I don't need to add any extras for a third if there is a red marker. All of these have stayed green, so that is definitely a trade. And the result there was, if we look over here at trifecta, 3, 7, 1 came in first, second, third. Let's go to combinations. There it is, little green pill, just to show where it is. Had $17 on it. This is the clever thing about our program. We put a different dollar amount on every combination depending on the risk. Thank you, Drew. My pause there was Drew was correcting my math. You're absolutely right, Drew. I'm looking at 3 different screens, and I'm trying to keep everybody moving along. But you're absolutely right, Drew. That's why I've got a computer program to do all this for me. Thank goodness for the for this program and using trifectas. So $17 on 371. Let's find 371. 3 for a first, 7 for a second, and 1 for a third. We had $17 on it. So if we go down here, it paid $44. So for every $1 invested on this combination, so we had 60 bets in this race. Just want to make that point quickly. We had 60 different bets in this race, and every one of those had a different dollar amount on it. And if any of those combinations had come in, we would have made a profit. That's a vast amount of coverage. Either 3 or 1 could have come first, and any of these horses down at number 8 could have come second and third. So we had 17 multiplied by 44, we have 748. Take off the $400 the bet cost us, and just to reference back to the previous question, yes, I am betting $400 in this race. And we have a profit here of $348. All right then, so I'll do 1 or 2 more bets, 1 or 2 more trades on this day, just to take you through it, and you can very quickly see, go back to race lists, very quickly here, we've got, that's in red. So this is the great thing about our program. There's absolutely no way for me to force a race to qualify or not. It either does or it doesn't. And we actually upload every single day's trading to our website. And so a customer can go ahead and check that and pick a day for the last 3 years. And we'll show you the exact trades that we took. And if you don't get those same trades, then you're not following the training. Now, I'm not saying that we are we're the only holders of all the knowledge. People like Paul, who's, as I said, retired and does Quinellas and Exactas. People like Chris in Adelaide and George. Well, actually, a lot of people use the program in slightly different fashions, because during your training, you'll be asked, would you like lots of trades for more money, or would you prefer fewer trades for a higher strike rate? And I know that sounds, well, why, most people say, well, why wouldn't you want more money? A lot of customers would say, well, look, I would prefer to be more of a sniper than a machine gunner. So they'll go ahead and just find that one trade, take that one trade or 2 trades for the day, and switch the program off. And that's the idea, and that's how Malcolm trades. So here we go. All of these are in green. Let's do our what a trainer calls color band analysis, but that sounds very, very fancy. But really, I'm looking to add to the next red marker. All right then. So for first place, we don't have a red marker there, so I need to add to the next red marker there. And we've got down here, don't need to add any more there. But of course, there's no red markers here, so I need to keep adding horses in. And you can see down the bottom, by me doing that, all of these have gone red. And that's how you identify a race that you do or you don't do. If I go across to percent return, let me quickly explain that. Percent return is a really simple function of the program. We brought that in from a suggestion of a customer, because as I said, we don't know everything, far from it. We're very, very happy to work with customers to develop their own ideas. We've got some customers who have written their huge back testing programs for themselves. Sounds like Drew would be one of those sort of people, and they've written something that'll do a million permutations, and so we use that software to redefine and refine our selections every now and then. So that's something that we use of a customer's, and he's happy to let us use that program. Does quite a few million calculations, and you can just put an idea in, and here's the result. And that's really powerful, because some customers come to me and say, oh, what about Cornellas on a Thursday that do this, this, and this? What would be the result? And within a couple of days, I can come back with 2 years worth of results on that. So that's a really powerful thing to do. Obviously, we don't just haphazardly go ahead and use that person's software. It's all under license and things like that. But those are the sort of resources available to our company that other customers, existing customers, have written. Okay, so percent return is simply how many horses can I bet on and make 50% return on investment. Really simple. At the moment, the program is saying, hey, these 3 horses being covered, I need to add to the next red market. So the program would probably present like this. If I uncheck the selections, which is unchecked, this is how the program started out. Same rule, slightly different application because we order the horses not from favourite to least favourite, but in cash value. Often that's the same, but every now and then it changes. I would need to go ahead and add this horse in because it's not reasonable to say that a horse who in the last 5 minutes have taken $1,975 is much, much better than a horse that's taken $1,958. So those 2 horses are too similar for our liking, so therefore I need to add that horse in. The rules are 8 to 16. I need a prize pool of greater than 20,000, and I need to make it, of course, as I said, at least 50% return, and that one doesn't qualify. So let me just quickly go through a couple more just to see, just to I guess hammer it home. So Chris has just asked, which TAB or bookie are you using, and is it switchable? We currently use New South Wales TAB. We had a deal with a bookmaker called Bet Easy, and they figured out that our customers were winning, and a bookmaker is in competition with the customer, but the TAB TAB makes money on turnover. So the bookmaker tried to pass our bets on to the TAB. They felt that there wasn't enough money in it for them to continue that relationship, so they actually stopped that relationship simply because, which is good for us and good for our program, it's almost a reverse testimonial. They sacked us because we were winning too much. So we've gone back to the New South Wales TAB, and you can also use VicTab if you like. Chris, later on down the track, we will be bringing in Queensland as well, but we need to work into what's called a parimutuel pool, which is a TAB style. We want to make sure that our customers' bets are able to be taken, and the only people that will take our bets are going to be ones that are not too concerned about who wins, loses, or draws. The TAB, by the way, provide us with this data for free, and we have a special arrangement with the TAB to receive and place our bets through their system, even though our customers don't, in the normal course of their business, qualify as for that particular service. You have to be a high-level customer, but of course, if you write down that you're one of our customers, they straight away let you through because they realise the value of us. We create a lot of turnover, and they make money on turnover, not necessarily who wins or loses. All right then, so quickly keep your eyes down here in the rules section. Dollars or top combo is 12, that doesn't qualify. Move on. Pool combos and dollars or top combo doesn't qualify. We can move on to the next race again, and so on and so forth. So that's how the program works. So far this year, we've been using the program in a very basic fashion. And as I say, when I say basic, the way that we know we can teach almost anybody. We know that we've got customers in varying degrees of understanding about the software. People who have been involved in racing for many, many years and wish to turn their hobby into something that's producing profit. There's also people, because I had one person say, "Oh, look, this doesn't look like any fun." I said, "Yeah, you're right. It's not. If you want fun, take up jet boating or bungee jumping. This is about making money. This is a trading platform that provides you with a cash income. This is not about having a champagne and watching horses run past." So I've been accused of ruining people's fun when it comes to horse racing, because what happens is they go ahead and go to the racetrack. They want to have a day of fun, in inverted commas, betting or gambling, and they've looked at the screens and gone, "Oh, maybe I should do a percent return bet on this race." And they spend more time figuring out the math than they try to actually, betting on horses, gambling. So that's really why I'm coming from. That's why I don't have the horses' names in it. I don't care who's writing what. It's about the software. It's about the math. Because most people realize that that bookmakers and TABs are no longer about form sheets and whispered tips. It's more about, it's going to look more like a Wall Street a trading room. That's the professionals. That's the people who make the money. The biggest punter in the world lives in Sydney and has over 120 staff, and all of them are on a computer. Yes, they might understand form and things like that a little bit better than us, but of course he turns over $1 billion a year. But he uses data, he uses math to make his decisions. All right, so let's move on. So as I said, you can just follow through here. Pool doesn't qualify, field doesn't. Great. So let's go back to what I wanted to show you, which is some of the training. I hope everybody's okay with that. If you do want to actually see the program at a longer personal demonstration, I'm more than happy to do that for you. Let me just go ahead and bring up that. I've done the IQ. So this is about the membership. So this is the membership section. I've decided to use screenshots rather than actually be on the internet, just so I can click through these quickly for you. This is what our member section looks like. We have a help section, which is a full interactive databasing of every question that's ever been asked and the solution. So the idea is to go ahead and find any link in there, everything you need. If you click on that, that's going to bring up the IQPro member section. You can click on this search function. You can go, oh, I want to know about data. I want to know about racing. I want to know about maidens. Everything is in there. You just start typing, and very much like Google, it'll autofill. You just hit the enter button. So, of course, you would click on getting started to when you first download the program, announcements, company announcements, support groups. This is another thing I wanted to bring up. In most cities around Australia and New Zealand, there is a group of motivated and profiting customers who get together once a month to support each other, to trade ideas, and to generally get better at running the program. Because sometimes people have said, oh, you know, sitting at home trading is a lonely business. Well, look, that's fine, but the great thing is we've got a forum which you can click on and interact with people. We've got closed Facebook groups where you can go ahead and commentate the races, and some customers do that. And also you can go along and meet existing customers and get their ideas. There's one chap who in South Australia owns the program, is made over, you know, makes about $200,000 to $300,000 a year. He goes to these meetings and is happy to help. And that's the sense of community that we've built up around the program. Because the idea here generally is to help you make money. And so we've obviously actively encouraged that. This is how the training portal looks. So we've got all the lessons here, 1 through 8. We're developing a lesson 9, which will expand on one of the ideas. If we go ahead and click on lesson 2, you'll see this is how the general structure of the lessons is broken up. And we've got the introduction to trifecta. The key objective here, understanding the basic trifecta selection process. Well, most of you have already done that today. Chris, yes, we do have somebody who's $200,000 a year, yes. I'm happy to put you in touch with him. So the second part here is money gap process and how you actually make those selections. So we've got a 27-minute video there. Obviously, you'd make that full screen. And another 5-minute video because money gap logic. You know, David earlier said, hey, can you just go ahead and explain that again? If that wasn't clear after going through the video, you just go ahead and click on that 5-minute one, and Peter will go ahead and really clearly, much better than I can, go through that selection process for you once again. And the last part, oops, went the wrong way. The last part is down here, resources. And the resources section is going to show you the trifecta parameters. So remember how I said, hey, you can make 50, 70, 90. You know, you've got to look at horses between 8 and 14 horses. You don't have to remember all that, and they're all there that's a PDF download. So you just go ahead and download that, print it out if you like, stick it on the side of your computer, and when you're ready to start trading, you should know these pretty instinctively. But it's all there as a resource for you. David's just asked, how long will the training take before you go live? Well, let me just go back 1 slide, 2 slides, I mean. Each of these lessons are a video lesson. As you saw from the video there, it was about 25 minutes, and then there was an extra 5 minutes just as a bonus, as a let's just really hammer this point home, because not everybody gets it straight away. And so that would be, so 35 minutes, let's say, 30 minutes of video learning, and then there's a a test to do. That test would be, add the ticks into the next red marker. And that's all interactive on our site. So it'll show you like a dummy version of the program. You add ticks to the next red marker, click next, and then as you build from there. So usually the tests usually take about 10 minutes. So if we assumed that each one of these lessons is going to take you around about 35 to, let's go extraordinary lengths. Let's say it takes you an hour to go through each one of them. Well then, David, it's entirely up to you how long you take to go ahead and go through the training. You could do it in a week because I think lesson 5, you need to fill out a data sheet like I showed you earlier, with that graph, if you remember, and email that to Peter. Peter will come back saying, yep, all good, or Peter will say, hey, why did you make this selection? Or you've made this selection, can you walk me through that? So you might book a phone call with Peter, and then he'll understand what your thinking is there, correct it if it requires correcting, and then move on. So I would like to say that you could probably go through the mechanics of the learning in about 2 weeks, and then the actual practice, well, really it's up to you. The people who take the longer amount of time to do practice when I say practice, do dummy betting. So you're watching the program live, you're fully trained, you're in, you haven't got your TAB hooked up, TAB account hooked up. You're going ahead and saying, yep, this is a trade, saving the data sheet, sending that into Peter, getting him to correct that on a daily basis, just to make sure you're 100% in line with our training before you spend $1. So if we said 3 to 4 weeks, that would be a very reasonable amount of time. All right, so let's move on. Hope that answers your question. I know I do give a long answer sometimes, but I would prefer to give you more information than not. Okay, so the limited time offer that we're looking at here is normally these limited offers are like, you've got to buy it in the next week. What I'm looking to do is help you out. It's till the end of the financial year, which is about another week here in May and then June. So the end of the financial year in Australia is at the end of June. And so what the normal, whoops, wrong way. Oh, that's good. That's interesting. Let me just see if I can. Anyway, so you can see that here, my slideshow is decided to have a bit of a mare, but well, I didn't build PowerPoint. We're going to blame Microsoft for that. My program worked perfectly during the demo. Microsoft PowerPoint failed, so let's just go ahead and do that. So it normally, as you can see, the IQPro software and training package normally sells for $19,750. Customers would usually have to spend, or I would recommend, a $3,000 trading account. You would need to have an active membership. I would suggest have an active membership to get more value. So that's actually, in regards to an active membership on a yearly basis, a customer would go ahead and have the basic, and then they can upgrade. Now with the upgrade, you get access to the extra training things. Now we're going to be doing, Malcolm's going to be running a webinar later on in the year. You get free access to that. Paul is going to be doing a session on quinellas and exactas. You get access to that. We're also going to be traveling Australia and New Zealand and coming to a city near you and going ahead and doing a full day. And so you get access to that at a discounted rate. So there's a lot of value in that 12 months of active membership. That's $850 there. 12 months of Better Data subscription. Now, I like to use the Better Data because it's the same data feed the TABs use. If you look up at the screens, that's all Better Data. Now that costs $870 for the first year. If you take $90 off that, that's the ongoing yearly price. And a lot of people who use or purchase our software go ahead and say, you know what, Matt, this is a business. I'm going to go ahead and buy myself a new laptop. This is my work machine. This doesn't have my kids' school programs or Minecraft. If you've got children, you know about Minecraft. I've got 2 boys, so being on the computer doing Minecraft, it's like a Lego thing. It takes up a lot of space. People use our program as a dedicated machine. So normally the spend would be around about $25,000 for this business. And when you consider that so far this year the program's made more than that, and it's on track to be making around about $60,000 for the year, that's a pretty good business. Even if you were to go out and buy the program and say, spend 25 grand with us, or sorry, 19,750 with us, and then buy those extra things that you need, that's a really good deal, because most businesses that you buy are going to have a 3 years payback period. So you buy a milk bar or a sandwich shop, and whatever earnings you get out of that first year, you multiply by 3, and that's what you need to spend. So for our program, you need to buy our program, you'd be looking around about maybe $100,000 to $150,000. Of course, that's not the price I'm asking. So that's the usual price. So if we go ahead and move on to the next one, the complete package that we're talking about till the end of the month, or end of the financial year, is you get the software, 12 months of active membership, 12 months of Better Data subscription, and a laptop for $16,750. So that's the offer that we're making today. So you save about $10,000 there. Now, to me, anybody who's been looking at the program for some time, it occurs to me to be a bit of a no-brainer. There's many people have bought the program at $19,750 over the years, and they have got immense value. What I'm doing today is just going to present this to give you that, maybe that push that you need. Maybe that little bit of, you know what, I've been thinking about this, I've been sitting on the fence for a long time, and here's the offer to go ahead and basically save $10,000. So that's the program. I won't bang on about it too much more. Are there any questions that we've got? So the data usage from Better Data. Look, if you've got a plan at around about a gigabyte of data for us, but of course, don't just get a gigabyte of downloads, because you'll also be watching a lot of videos. So a mid-level, 20 to 50 gigabyte plan from your service provider will certainly do it, because you'll probably be watching those videos. Now, we have had customers in rural New Zealand who have not been able to get a plan like that, and what we've done is we've put all the videos on a memory stick and sent that out to them. Okay, so well, thank you, John. I'm looking forward to talking to you soon. I'm glad you're excited about that. So what I'll do is, if anybody is interested in discussing this package with me further, please email me. John, I'll certainly give you a call tomorrow. And if there's anybody else that would like to be part of this, now, as I said, I will be sending this out to you on YouTube. I'll be loading this up on YouTube tonight and sending it out to you. But if there's no more questions, I will I'll let you go. And if anybody who does want a program, let me know. Chris, I will talk to you about that maybe tomorrow. I'll give you a call tomorrow. Chris is just saying he's already bought a laptop. What can we do? And of course, I'll be more than happy to give you a call, Chris. Now, I may not have your current phone numbers, because this email went out to some of you who I've not had contact for a while. If you go ahead and email me with your current your current phone number and the best time to call, I'll be more than happy to do that. But for now, I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for taking your time. I know that it's it takes, I guess, a little bit of extra effort to be here online with me tonight and understand more about the IQPro. We're really, really excited about the coming year. We've got lots of new things coming out, and I know that, Chris, you'll be happy to hear that, and also Drew, you'll be happy to hear that we've got new data feeds coming online and a whole bunch of other stuff. So, gentlemen and ladies, thank you for your time tonight, and I really look forward to talking to you over the next couple of days. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, John. Speak to you soon. I'll talk to you soon. Drew, if you want to email me, I'll be more than happy to talk to you. All right, bye for now.